I would like to congratulate Cyprus Shipping News for being a true voice of the Cyprus shipping and marine environment. With 100,000 followers, you really have achieved this strong voice. Well done. A big thank you also to all the companies and presenters who will join today our conference. We are without masks. We are here virtual with some people from far away, but we are here in reality, and that's the truth, and that is what we should all be proud about. So, my name is Captain Adami. I'm a seafarer, and I'm not a robot. Today, I'm going to talk about the digitalization, and what challenges this brings with us, and what does it mean for our society. Speaking on behalf of the Cyprus Foundation of the Sea, I can talk freely. I'm not talking on behalf of a lobbying association, so I can bring you the truth of the status quo. And the status quo is shipping is, with today's technology and with today's culture, not ready to meet the requirements to reduce our carbon footprint. We are far from that. But it's not only shipping, it's the entire world which is not ready, and I have 25 minutes to prove this to you. A small disclaimer, I'm not here to discourage IT, augmented reality, and AI. I am here to embrace technology because we need technology. The minister mentioned it correctly. We have, in a wider collaboration, bring these technologies together to change our culture in a meaningful mean. So please don't be discouraged about this, what you will hear from me today. I will not bother you with this, but please read it carefully. Digital transformation means actually that you change your culture, you change your daily activities, and you bring it into a digital environment. And digitization means that you change all your procedures in bits and bytes, and that means data. So what we are talking here about digitalization and digital transformation means data. You will increase data, and you will do it massively. Is that good? We have to see. Just look at this graph. This is a statistic from 2010 until 2025 with a little bit of a projection here. And you can see that the data volume is exponentially going up. That doesn't come at no cost, ladies and gentlemen. Roughly 306 billion emails are sent every day, and 500 million tweets are made. If we want to have, at one point, an autonomous car, that autonomous car will generate, within 1 hour of use, 4,500 gigabytes only to drive that vehicle. It does not include the data which that vehicle needs to negotiate with the other traffic in order to make sure that there is no accident. It also doesn't include the data which is submitted to the control centers who will regulate the traffic in our cities. Data centers are valued at roughly $50 billion today. In 26, that is in 5 years from now, this is expected to go up to $105 billion. That means energy. A lot of energy is being needed in order to do our digital transformation. Do we have that energy today in form of renewable energies? No. So at this moment, we are trying to reduce our carbon footprint. We are trying to do things more efficient. And the tools we are using for that need us to deploy more electricity. Do we achieve what we want to achieve with a great idea? That's the question we have to ask. If we look at the energy usage of countries, there is a little bit of 6 countries here now, and you see how much China is using, how much Brazil is using. Where do you think the internet would be? Do you think the internet would be somewhere here? Or do you think the internet, the daily energy needed to run the internet would be below Brazil or Iran? Well, here. If the internet would be a country, it would rank 6th in the world energy demand. Now, if you are trying to reduce in your home, in your country, in the European Union, your carbon footprint, and you do that digitally, you reduce your own, but you bring up here the energy demand. Do we achieve the goal to combat the climate change? This is a question. Energy demand of the internet is expected to increase to 20% of the world usage. Today we are at around 5%. So it goes 4 times up. What can we all do? Let's talk a little bit about electricity to run cryptocurrencies, because this can help us a little bit to understand blockchain technology and how to introduce blockchain technology in the marine and maritime world. Great technology, great things, but it comes at a cost. Only to run the Bitcoin, just the one cryptocurrency, needs as much electricity as the entire country of Sweden. This is just to run the Bitcoin. Now, is there an inequality of energy use? Yes, there is. A little bit coming from Stone Age. We had used very little energy. Then we increased heating a little bit, so we used the fire to make it a bit more comfortable in our caves. And in the Middle Age, we went up to 25 kilowatt per hour. The world today is standing at roughly 58 kilowatt per hour. This is the energy what each and every one person is consuming in its daily activity. That means your mobility, your television, your heating, all the energy. Now, look at this. The United States of America, they are at about 220 kilowatt per hour. The guys in India are at 19 kilowatt per hour. If we assume that India, China may reach somehow what we are today using in Germany without being fully digital, what would that mean to our energy? What would that mean for the climate change? So we all have a job to do when we talk about digitalization. Talking about connecting the seafarers with the shipping companies and the ships with the authorities and the authorities with a bigger authority in order to regulate the trade, to regulate the traffic, all that is great. It's really great. But doesn't it come with problems? When we look at how our digitalization has already impacted our personal life, when we just look how Google is talking to us when we make some searches, that everything is already tailored for us. Wristwatches which tell us the steps what we have to do. And algorithms which negotiate the data, telling us at the end of the day what is better for you and what is not so good for you. This, ladies and gentlemen, goes very deep into the private life. And I remember in Cyprus how we have debated about the policy of data and the data protection laws. This is microscopic against this, what is up from us here. So we really have to think about this. Task-driven versus decision-making. This is the answer what the equipment makers and programmers should think very, very deeply. If we control ourselves by task, by algorithms, by robots, maybe this will happen. A control center will realize, monitoring a vessel, there is something with the temperatures, maybe there is a problem in the engine developing. Chief engineer, please increase cooling. Chief engineer to control center, I'm very sorry, ship is aground. So, did it help? Now, we have to find the balance between technology in order to achieve all the good things which we want to achieve, and nature. If we manage that, we are all great. The oceans, they are the cradle of our life. But the ocean have all colors. On the top, the ocean is blue. And at the bottom, the ocean is dark. In between is life. And we have to negotiate with life. We have to respect life. And as such, we have to understand that technology has not all the time done good. About 200 years ago, if we would be all in this room, we would not have these bright lights. We would have oil lamps. And we would be happy that we have the oil lamps. But the oil lamps had as fuel whale oil. So we hunted whales globally in order to have light in our houses. Whale hunting was in parallel to slavery. About 200 years ago, 75% of the population of the world were slaves. That was not acceptable at one point, and it needed to be changed. A change was demanded by society. Free the people. And freeing the people came at a cost. The cost was technology. We had to introduce technology to run the mines, to run the fields, to let the slaves not do slavery work anymore. Academia was charged to find something. And yes, they found technology, industrialization. We started to use steam in order to run engines. That's a good idea. The bad idea is that we use coal in order to make the steam. And we made it to such an extent that by that time already we initiated the climate change. Now, was it all good? I don't know. What came afterwards was development. Great development, mobility. They discovered the car. And surprise, surprise, the first car was not a car with a combustion engine, it was an electric car. Yeah? The electric car, however, didn't go through because people discovered at that time already there is hydrocarbons also in liquid form. There is something which is called oil. Let's use oil, that's great. Today we use oil. So was it the great idea that at that time we did a real technology change and we changed shipping from zero carbon, maybe even we were minus carbon, to full carbon, because we took the sails down from the ships and we put the engines inside. So let us respect the oceans and let us really think what we can do. And that is my solution to our problem. A solution which involves our lives. And we go from a linear economy, meaning we budget something, we plan the execution, we execute, and then we scrap. That is how we live today. This is how shipping lives today. We build a ship somewhere where it's cheap, Then we run the ship, and then we scrap it. And in between, we do whatever we do in order to justify that we are there and that we are green. We are not green when we don't start to recycle the ship. When we take the ship back into the circle, when we take all the equipment what we have on board of the ship back into the circle and reuse the ship, if we are managing to stop ship recycling to the extent that the ship is not recycled, it's not there anymore because that's how it goes today, but that we reuse the ship, then we can achieve something. And if we manage with each and every equipment which we have on board of the ship to be in a circular economy, we will reduce the global energy demand. This is a change of culture. This is a change of life. And if the world is not embracing this, not only for the shipping industry, but for all industries, we will be sitting here in a few days building dikes in front of the seafront to protect our beautiful Cyprus from the waves which will take the seafront road. Then, ladies and gentlemen, it will not be a debate anymore. Then you will see the money will be spent, the construction companies will come in, and the dikes will be built. Nobody will debate it anymore. Today, we have the chance to avoid this by doing the right thing, transforming to our circular economy. And this we can do jointly. We can collaborate together. We can do the research and development, and we shall praise the Minister for RISE. This is a great thing. This is a right movement. We all should come together, use innovation, use education, make regulations rightfully to demand from companies to go in a circular economy forward. Then we have a chance. So my conclusion is the technology does not exist today to meet the climate goals. Let's not kid ourselves. Speak it out, guys. More research is needed. Deep research is needed because for shipping, carbon neutral is not the solution. We have to become carbon minus in order to meet the IMO rules with new ships under construction. Carbon minus, because the new ships have to offset the continuous carbon emissions of the old ships. So new ships have to become carbon minus. Any new technology must consider the energy demand. There is no need that we invent something which at the end consumes more than what it's supposed to save. And a ship cannot only be task-driven. A ship needs also decision-making driven. So we cannot forget the crew. We cannot forget the captain and the chief engineer in our digital transformation roadmap. And we shall change our thoughts to the circular economy. In the Cyprus Foundation of the Sea, this is what we are promoting. This is what we believe the joint collaboration between academia and the industry should start. And we invite all of you, if you have great ideas, to address this to us. Let's make this guy to swim in peace for the next 20,000 years. Thank you very much, and I wish all the best for the future deliberations.
Thank you, Captain. Just a question before you step down. Do you believe that the autonomous ships will come in service eventually in the next years? And if not, when do you anticipate this will happen?
Autonomous ships are already in service. They are already there. If autonomous ships will do maritime transport in a large scale, I deny that one. Autonomy is welcome in the shipping industry on certain segments on board of the ship, but that the entire vessel will be autonomous and doing also maritime transport, I don't see that in the near future.
And in your opinion, how the shipping industry compares to other industries' digital transformation journey, and what should we expect to see in the coming years from the shipping industry owners and managers?
The shipping industry is very conservative and behind technology. Yeah, I give you an example. I broke a refrigerator in Germany while I was on vacation in a holiday house. And I felt very bad because my beer was getting warm. So I thought, let's change the fridge. I went in the internet. I found the fridge which I wanted. I made a price comparison on the spot, and within 5 minutes I have placed the order for the fridge. It took me another 2 minutes to make the payment because I'm not so good, so I get help from my wife to do payments on the internet. She's much better. And a week later, the fridge was installed and I could have things done. If I would do the same thing in the shipping industry, I would have to pass through so many different steps within the company until I get an authorization to order a fridge, and then I need it in the purchasing department to run the price comparison with at least 3 suppliers. It has to go back and blah, 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 blah. No, we are way behind what is possible. And there is room for great improvement, and that's why you guys are here. You are a true testimony that we have a job to do.
Thank you so much, Captain.
You're welcome.